Hello everyone. Welcome to another interesting session by SimpliCode. Today, we'll be discussing the jobs, skills and resume that is related with Python. While we are at it, don't forget to subscribe to the SimpliCode channel to never miss an update. We have Chinmay who will be leading this session. So, let's move forward.
So here is the agenda for the session. First, we will go through a quick intro to Python. Then, we will understand who exactly a Python developer is. After that, we will go through the skill set of a Python developer, the job roles that are suitable for Python developers, the current salary trends of a Python developer in the tech industry, and in the end, we will have a look at the resume of a Python developer to get insights into real-world credibility and employability of a Python developer. So without further ado, let's get started. Introduction to Python. So let's quickly go through this very concise Python intro. Python is an interpreted, high-level, interactive, object-oriented scripting language. Python is very versatile in nature and therefore its applications are spread to various fields in the industries, more popularly in web development, machine learning and AI, and game development. So who is a Python developer? Let's answer this. So here are some of the technologies used by a Python developer. Pandas, Anaconda, TensorFlow, Python IDEs, Django Web Framework, and Python. A Python developer is one who develops backend components of a web application using Python when working as a web developer. Now, the web frameworks like Django and Flask are used for this purpose. A Python developer is also the one who writes effective, testable, and scalable Python code. He also performs data analysis when working in the field of data science. So basically, a Python developer develops, deploys, debugs, and maintains a project. So let's go through the skill set of a Python developer. Now, the core Python skills that a Python developer possesses are data structures like arrays, list, stack, queues, trees, and graphs. There's OOP concepts like inheritance, classes and objects, and abstraction. There's packages and functions, that is importing external packages into a Python code. Database and its connection, that is connecting a Python backend to a database like MySQL. When it comes to data science skills, there's NumPy, that is a library for performing mathematical calculations. There's Pandas, that is the library for storing and manipulating data efficiently. There's SciPy, and then there's Matplotlib, which is a library for plotting charts and graphs for a given data. And finally, there are machine learning algorithms, which consist of models like supervised learning, unsupervised, etc. Now coming to web developer skills, there are frameworks like Django and Flask for backend development of web applications. And then there's web scraping, which includes taking data from websites and converting that data into usable format. There's API handling, which is basically handling API requests for a web application to perform server-side operations. And finally, there is backend connection, which basically involves the backend part of a web application and it is usually handled by Python frameworks. Now moving on, let's look at the Python developer job roles. First up is Python web developer. Now a Python web developer usually writes server-side code, works on the web frameworks like Django and Flask, collaborates with the data team to gather end users' requirements, develops the server-side platform, deploys applications, performs tuning, usability, improvement, and automation. Moving on, next job role is data analyst. Now, a data analyst generally works on Python libraries including Matplotlib, NumPy, Pandas, etc., carry out data analysis, collect data using the scripting language, explore data sets, gather requirements, tune in applications, analyze problems, communicate findings with the team or stakeholders. The next job role is automation test engineer. Now, an automation test engineer usually works on Python test framework tools, including PyTest, PyUnit, perform complex system tests, troubleshoot code issues, create test scripts, design the automation framework, perform A/B testing. Next up is machine learning engineer. Now, a machine learning engineer has the following roles. to perform statistical analysis of data, put machine learning models into production, research and transform data science prototypes, research and implement appropriate ML algorithms and tools, perform ML tests, and keep updated with the ML trends. The last job role is software engineer. Now, a software engineer is expected to write server-side code, collaborate with the design team to gather end users' requirements, develop the server-side platform, deploy applications, perform tuning, usability, improvement, and automation. Moving on to the next topic, let's look at the Python developer salary trends. Now, software engineers with Python skills are offered better salaries across the globe. The average salary of a Python developer in India is around 7,55,000 rupees per annum. The average salary of a Python developer in the US is about $79,000 per annum. Moving on to our last segment, Python developer resume. So let's go ahead and understand what a Python developer resume should portray. Just keep a few things in mind when you're preparing your resume. Your resume should be clear, updated, and concise. You should prioritize the skills according to the job role you're applying for. And do not write anything extra. That's a big no. The recruiters are smart enough to know that. So do not lie and do not write extra. Firstly, let's look at the fresher resume. So if you're a fresher, these are some of the points that you need to know. First, you have the resume header. Now the summary is supposed to be clear and concise. Just say what exactly you want and some of your strengths. Next is the profile links and your portfolio. So you can mention your LinkedIn profile link and also your GitHub repository link if you have. Next up is the projects. Now clearly depict the goal of your project. So just in case you worked on say 5 projects, make sure you keep it concise and crisp. Next up is your education. Do not lie here. Make sure you give relevant education with grades. Next you have the certifications. If you have any certifications or achievements, go ahead and write them down. Next you have the technical skills. Now again, prioritize according to the job role. And lastly, you have your non-technical skills. This could be your communication, analytical skills, problem-solving skills, etc. Moving on to an experienced developer. So again, mention the resume header. Then you have the summary, again very crisp and clear. Go ahead and mention your portfolios and your links. Coming to experience, now here you'll have to clearly depict your work. You'll have to make sure that you write down all your responsibilities in that company. Do not go overboard and write extra. Keep it very concise. Again, relevant education and your grades. You have technical skills. The same goes for this as well. Prioritize according to the job role. And finally, you have your non-technical skills. So there you go. By now, you must be aware of all the skills and job responsibilities of a Python developer, and I'm sure you're ready to build your resume for the next interview. We also have a Python YouTube playlist that covers everything from the basics to advanced Python concepts. Don't forget to check that out if you're interested in Python development. The link is added in the description box below. So with that, we've reached the end of this video. I hope you liked it. Do you think we missed out on anything important? Let us know in the chat section or in the comment section. So thank you so much for watching the video.